Hello everyone. I'm a little late to get to the scene and to these videos, but today we're going to be talking about Dracula and him being brought into the game. So, to start off, as we can see here, he'll be coming in Chapter 33, Castlevania, on the 27th of August, 24th. So, this one I think is an interesting addition, because a lot of people are trying to debate whether or not this is coming from the animated adaptation of Castlevania or if it's coming from the game. And this here is claiming the RPG Castlevania from back in the day. However, I still think people are a bit unsure about which one it's actually going to be. Now, his name is the Dark Lord, so they kind of went the route of doing another multiple spaced out name like the Ghost Face, which I think is interesting enough. We do see already that he is going to be a multi-form killer. And looking here, his weapons are going to be his claws. His movement speed is going to be 115%, so he's going to be a normal speed killer with a 32-meter terror radius. And then he has a lullaby while he's going to be in his bat form, which we'll go over in just a minute, and that's going to be 48 meters. He is a tall killer as well, and they even got Crispin Freeman to voice him. He, of course, being a DLC character, is going to cost you 500 Auric cells, or about $5. Now we have his wall of lore here as well, which I'm not really going to go over that as much. If you're familiar with Castlevania, or even have a bit of an inkling about it, you should know quite a bit about Dracula. If not, then I'm going to leave this here for just a couple seconds. Feel free to pause, read this if you'd like. But we're going to move to his loadout. So, his first perk is Dominance. The power you wield over the land strikes terror in the hearts of all who cross your path, calls upon the entity to block chests and totems for up to 8 seconds that are interacted by a survivor for the first time in a trial. The aura of blocked chests and totems are revealed to you in white. So this perk right here is interesting because if you pair this with things like, I don't know, many of your hexes, such as like Ruin or anything, it's going to give you a notification that this is being worked on. It's going to block it from happening. So it's a nice little slowdown perk, I think. Help you keep some of your pressure up on the board while using your using your hexes. I don't know how much I really like this one. I think the chest thing is also interesting because you'll see that pair well with a few other perks down here. In fact, these all interact rather well with one another. Overall, I would say Dominance is an okay perk. Now, Hex Wretched Fate. The newest Hex we've seen in a minute. You see your victim from afar and resolve to prolong their suffering. After a generator is completed, Hex Wretched Fate activates, and a random dual totem lights cursing the obsession. This reduces their repair speed by 33%. That one is huge. At least for the obsession, because if you're the obsession, you're basically useless now. However, they do give it the same treatment as kind of like Plaything and with Noed, to where that Hex Totem is revealed to the obsession within 12 meters. So, that one is a good kind of like one-off, especially if it's late game and the obsession's the only one that's left, or maybe if you're trying to get stacks of like play with your food or, Dying Light, things like that. Anything that's going to revolve keeping the obsession alive, this might be good. And then finally, Human Greed. This perk is going to be broken, and let me explain. So, for starters, you can kick open chests now, but, that's just part of it. The unlocking speed on kick chests is by 50%, yada yada. The auras of unopened chests are revealed to you at all times. The auras of survivors coming within 8 meters of unopened or closed chests are revealed to you for 3 seconds. So, imagine if you will, Weave Attunement, Franklin's, Hoarder, and Human Greed. The Hoarder, of course, is a Twins perk that that adds extra chest into the game. And so, now, you have all these chests floating around. all of which can be blocked at least once or twice, can be kicked, can be closed. You'll know their location the entire time. And anyone coming within these are going to be seen. So you'll have that on top of your wall hacks coming from Weave Attunement. I think this is kind of broken. We're entering the stage of just absolute aura reading whenever we're coming into Dead by Daylight now. Weave Attunement kind of brought us there, and I think this kind of even solidifies it. Because now we have all kinds of aura reading coming from just items on the ground. We have it coming from the chests on the ground. And I mean, I'm pretty sure even... yeah, I think this is just... It's a solid perk. I think it's going to be really nasty trying to deal with it. So, now let's get into his power. Shapeshift. So the Dark Lord has 3 forms. Now, I have been unable, unfortunately, to play the PTB, but I have watched several other much, much bigger YouTubers, streamers than myself play them. And from what I've granted from these, regular form, the Dark Lord, 4.6 movement speed, and you get the Hellfire spell. Hellfire does not look great. It kind of looks like a much shorter Pyramid Head strike. I forget off the top of my head what that's called right now. But it doesn't seem great. He is the 4/6 killer though, so that is pretty good. The form that's going to be most problematic, and is also the coolest, is Wolf form. So this does bring his movement speed down to 4/4, but it increases pools of blood and scratch marks, and you get to see scent orbs. So this right here, I'm pretty sure when I was talking here, I think it might change the haste and the status effect. I think that changes around depending on each time. But the main thing here is you get a pounce attack. And this helps you with that pounce attack. So you get the Killer Instinct on survivors that perform a rushed action. So basically, you kind of get built-in I'm all ears. But this pounce attack is almost a double. So like basically imagine like Demo's Shred. It's basically that but doubled. It seems to control better than Wesker's dash as well. So like it's kind of crazy powerful. It does have a cooldown of 15 seconds, but I don't know if that really matters. Another thing to note while you're in wolf form is that you are shorter, so like you are harder to see in TL, so you're going to be able to move around a lot more freely. And just, yeah, wolf form is going to be crazy. I also think that we're going to have a lot more pig-like interactions because everybody wants to pet the doggo, which, I mean, I can't even disagree with. I want to pet the doggo. I'm probably going to get downed so many times because I want to pet the doggo. And then finally, we have the bat form. So, bat form, you are unable to attack or interact with survivors, granted, because you're moving now at 6 meters per second. You're undetectable. You do have a lullaby, kind of like Huntress. And you get the ability to teleport to any vault location within 32 meters of the current location. So, basically, also talking about the invisible in this form, and we'll leave scratch marks and footsteps. If we're going off of everything we've seen so far from all these individual powers, I don't want to say that behavior is starting to kind of get lazy or uninspired, but all of these powers are just taking from other powers from other killers at this point. I think this one makes it rather obvious, because this is just Spirit's power, save for the teleportation to the vaults. I do like this because I think the bat form looks really cool. You do just fly over window vaults as well. And you don't have to mess with pallets or windows, stuff like that. The teleportation's cool. The lullaby they brought in is awesome. But this is where I start to have a little bit of an issue with the game. Is that behavior has already done so much that they're really running out of things to do. Like I said, bat form, for the most part, kind of just seems like reskinned phase walk. The Hellfire spell is very much just like Pyramid Head's Forced Penance attack, or Punishment of the Damned. Wolf form pools of blood and scratch marks. Centorbs, it's just like the blood orbs from Oni. The pounce attacks are just like Wesker or Demogorgon. And then the Killer Instinct as well. I don't know. I don't know that I don't have an issue with this so much, but like, I think we're getting to the point where power creep is becoming very, very heavy into the game, because now we have all these killers that are having all these multiple powers, like Vecna. Vecna had 4, and all of these powers seem to take from powers that already exist, and they turn them into something not even really new. Like, we're just kind of reskinning things at this point, which I get. It's hard to keep coming up with new things, especially that can fit lore-wise with the characters you're taking. So maybe reskinning is the best way they can do things here, and then they add in a few things unique, kind of like Wolf or Bat, but I don't know, it's a bit depressing, because like, all those killers that only have like, say, one of these abilities, you don't really feel as pressed to play them now whenever you can play a killer that has 3 of those already. At the very least, I'm hoping this will change to some reworks from older killers to try and make them as powerful as some of these now. But yeah, as for now, I think that Dracula is another example of us kind of bringing in this whole power creep thing and just taking from others. I'm thrilled for Dracula. I think he looks like a really cool killer. All of his gameplay looks really cool. He moves really well. Great menu music, chase music, and all that. Overall, I think he's going to be solid. I'm a bit bummed about that, about them kind of just taking from others again. But, I mean, you can ignore that. You're probably going to be thrilled for that in its own right. And of course, we have his different cosmetics, all of his other things as well. And here's one thing that I think is interesting, right? So, instead of just giving Dracula another map, which that's another gripe of my own, they turned Dracula's castle into an Easter egg. It's non-interactable. You can't do anything with it, you can only see it. But I want to know why Dead by Daylight is kind of hesitant on new maps here. Like, this was prime opportunity to have a castle map. And I know that they just gave us a map kind of with Vecna that I guess you could consider being a castle, more so ruins than anything, but they could have even just reskinned that to be Dracula's castle, or they could just give us new maps. Let me know below what you guys think. I would like to see an update here or there that, you know, maybe they don't give us a new killer or a new survivor, but they just give us like 2 or 3 new maps for the game. Maybe even with new little like built-in interactable things in them. More things to do. Or just cool things you can do. I really do wish that we could see more maps come into the game, or at least more reworks. We don't get them very often, and I feel like that would be huge for the map, or for the game. Go in, change some older things, bring in some newer maps, rework some maps, give us different variations. But, I mean, once again, I can't complain too much. I love Dead by Daylight as it is, so I'm not going to complain a whole lot about things like that. I do wish, like I said, it would be nice for them to give us a few extra things here and there. But they don't really need to, because they're already doing a lot for us currently. These new updates have been pretty crazy. And yeah, moving forward, we're going to look at Trevor Belmont. So they are, of course, bringing in Trevor. I think it was an interesting choice to go with Trevor. And we're going to get into his perks. I'll tell you all right now, I think his perks are useless. And you might disagree with me, but I think these are really bad perks. Exaltation. Stunning a killer with a pallet upgrades the rarity of your held item to the next tier. and then it recharges it by 25%. I don't like this. Basically, this is forcing it to have to be a pallet stun. You can't just do anything else like a head-on stun. It can't be, decisive strike. It has to be pallet stun. And then all that does is upgrade the rarity of your item to the next tier. And then it does like a 25% recharge. I don't think that's good. If you're going to do something like this, you're better off just running Guild to Last, where you're guaranteed a 99, 66, and 33% recharge. I don't think that this does much. It has a cooldown of 30 seconds, so maybe if it's a long chase, you might get a stun twice, but at that point, just already bring in a good item. Eyes of Belmont. This one is another one that I don't think is very good. Whenever a generator is completed, the aura of the killer is revealed to you for 3 seconds. Extends the duration of all instances of the killer's aura being revealed to you by 2 seconds. It's just Dark Sense. I don't understand why you would want this perk. Basically, just run something like Alert. Run literally anything else that's going to give you more accurate, more consistent aura reading. This is just, it's not a great perk. The extra 2 seconds of the aura being revealed to you, that's great and all, but this isn't going to ever be, I think, usable in any big way. And the Moment of Glory. We have another chest perk. I'm not sure why we're coming so heavily onto chest perks now. This might be because we're running out of other things to do, and so now we've exhausted everything else, it's time to look at chests. But whenever you unlock a rummage on chest for a total of 2 times, Moment of Glory activates. When you become injured, you instantly suffer from broken. I don't like that at all. You are automatically healed 1 health state after 60 seconds. But this is cancelled prematurely if you enter the dying state. I don't like this. Say you're in the middle of a chase, like a lot of people I know like to do. You take a hit, you're hurt or whatever. If you want to go and just pop a syringe real quick, then you only have to do 15 seconds. You have to last in that chase. That's all. With this perk, whenever you become injured, you have to do a full minute while trying to survive in this chase for a full minute. Maybe you escape, but then you're still having to hide for the rest of that time to get out of the broken state, because you can't even just be healed by a teammate that's waiting close by. And this perk seems almost masochistic in a way. And plus, the fact that it's cancelled if you enter the dying state, it's not one of those maybe you go down, but if they slug you, they pay for it. No, this is just very much relying on you to it's relying on you to survive a chase, or maybe run around the map injured, just looking for chests to do, which with this new perk out, there's not going to be any point in doing that. Maybe you open these chests and then you rummage through them and you hide for another 60 seconds, but honestly, you'd be better off just fighting a teammate in that time to heal you, and it'd be much quicker, and you're not worried about being broken. I don't really care for his perks at all. I don't think I will ever use them. Maybe people will find creative ways to go about using them. I always do live for that stuff, and every now and then I like to break out a randomizer for my perks, and I like to see what might work better, but yeah, I don't think that Trevor's perks are going to be very good. I don't think they're going to be used very often. So that about covers it for the Chapter 33 overview of Castlevania. We've looked at the killer, we've looked at the survivor. Overall, if I were to grade this release, I think Dracula is a killer. I know I kind of gave my complaints and my qualms about them kind of having to pick and choose from other killers to create their characters, but that's more so a personal gripe. I think that as a killer, releasing him, I think he's probably an A+ release. I think it's an interesting way that they chose to do it. The different forms is cool. Like I said, they literally gave us a doggo. People are going to be losing so many health states by trying to pet the dog. And then, of course, they gave us the bat form where you just kind of get to zoom around. I think that's going to be fun in general. This is going to be a killer where people are going to feel more inclined to just, screw around the whole time. Just flying around as a bat, running around as a dog. And I hope that it's going to bring some healthy interactions to the game, maybe a bit more friendly gameplay here and there. people won't be as, like, harsh or just, like, going crazy. I hope it's a killer that we can have fun with. I'm not saying that every killer needs to be friendly, but I think it would just be... I think it's going to have some fun interactions. Trevor's perks, once again, like I said, I don't think they're great. I think they're kind of meme-worthy. These will probably be on a future tier list I do. Let me know below whenever you guys want to see another tier list and what you would like to see. But, yeah, as for his release, I would say he's like a C, maybe a D survivor. I'm not too thrilled about him coming out. I think his design looks pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. I do like that. But other than that, I hope that they'll give us more skins. Maybe bring in more characters from the game. I think that'd be really cool. That'd make him much more interesting to me. But yeah, I can't get beyond his perks. I just think they're really bad. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of Campfire Chats, where we discussed Chapter 33, Castlevania. If you like this video, like and comment below. Please subscribe. It helps with growing channel. And just thank you all so much for watching. This is Empty Giant, out.